to the drama castle. Overheard them mention hater, not a pretty word like moist or moisture. Wanna quit, but you know I'm a soldier. Try to get me out, you know it's game over. Say it's toxic, chaotic, unhealthy. Always play my cards right, don't test me. I'm not here to play nice, no I can't be. And if you're trying to stop me, that's a guarantee. Too many people try to get me out, and it worked for a second, but I'm back now, better than ever. Welcome to the drama castle. I am your drama queen, and welcome to the drama castle. You try to stop me, but you can't. Too many people try to stop me, but you can't. You can't. Hit quick as a mic, there's an uppercut. Almost killed her self-respect, what the fuck? Your girl was down bad, but she came up. Thank God she wised up and left James Charles in the dust. Oh, this is just for you, just for you. This is just for you. Oh, this is just for you, just for you. This is just for you. She didn't think that she could be a superstar. Didn't think she'd ever get out of that car. Back when we were starving, no food in the fridge. Thank God she wised up and left James Charles in the skills. This is just for you, just for you. This is just for you. Oh, this is just for you, just for you. This is just for you. Got a new man, better understand. Get to see him on demand, fly around the land. She got friends in low places and a couple in hot. Just like everything, we all gonna die. In the meantime, we gonna live this life. Oh, this is just for you, just for you. This is just for you. Oh, this is just for you, just for you. This is just for you.
Ooh, let's go, y'all. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Hopefully, y'all are having a great Monday. Hope y'all had a great weekend. Thank y'all for being with me all over the weekend. For those of y'all who caught all my streams. But anyways, yeah, I heard about this. Somebody brought it up in the chat a few streams ago, and I like to wait on certain stories just to make sure all the information is out there as best as it can be before I decide to talk about it. And we are here, y'all. We are here with this topic, this story. There's so much we got to unpack here. But anyways, I gotta say hi to the chat for those of you who are typing in the chat, turning up. Thank you. There's only 3 of y'all. I'm happy. I'm blessed to have a single person. And Nancy, hello, thank you for being here. Obviously, my mods always turn up, you know. We always got the mods always turning up. Although we're missing a few mods, but you know, whatever. I see where the love is. I'm just messing with y'all. Crane style, hello, good evening, Ray. Everyone, let us roast what's vile into oblivion. I like that. Yes, we are roasting, toasting, because a lot's going on, man. This just James Charles stuff. I don't know how James Charles survived the first cancellation, I wouldn't even say it's a cancellation, but the first controversy. The crazy part is the first one, in my opinion, was pretty bad, right? Because it involved underage boys. And here we are now. James Charles still, I guarantee you, James Charles is going to survive this too, because nobody clearly cares about the fucked up shit that James Charles has done, right? Because, like, if they actually care, James Charles still would not be sitting at a couple million friggin' subscribers on social media and TikTok and all that stuff and making all the money James Charles has, because, like, clearly people don't actually give a fuck about what James Charles has done. And hello, Jillykins, how are you? How are you, beautiful person? So, again, I usually do this for people who aren't familiar with the people I talk about, because not everybody pays attention like I do to all of these crazy content creators, okay? So James Charles is I guess you would consider James Charles originally like a beauty influencer. That's how I got first introduced to James Charles on YouTube. Obviously he's a guy, and he did makeup tutorials, which has been very popular. Oh my god, Andy Rose, hello, beautiful. Hold on, guys, I gotta stop what I'm saying real quick to say hello to this beautiful human being, this beautiful person that I have not seen in a while, and I hope you've been well, and I love you. I love you to pieces. Hello, beautiful. I'm sorry, I got excited. You know, when Andy comes in there, I gotta get excited. But okay, back to what I was saying. I gotta get back on track here. I've been stuck in Cromaland. I figured. I was like, let me let her do her. But listen, I gotta talk to you, because girl, like the cross sections are a thing, but we'll talk later. But it's nice to see you. Hello, suspect 13. But so James Charles was a beauty influencer. I don't know what you can consider James Charles now, but started off as a beauty influencer, and being a gay male beauty influencer, I guess you could say, next to Jeffree Star, who's another male beauty influencer. That's kind of like the thing, you know. We're so used to the female beauty influencers. It was interesting seeing the men jump into the fray. So James Charles really blew up. You know, he's a very pretty young man, and he rose to fame very quickly. And then the first controversy hit, which was James Charles got caught talking, or I would say, yeah, I'd say caught. I'm not even gonna say accused, because he got caught. There's no denying that he did this, right? So basically, a young boy who I also believe is an influencer, not a beauty influencer, but a young boy who was popular on TikTok, I believe, came out and said that James Charles was basically trying to, you know, get with him. And mind you, this is a straight boy. And he was basically saying James Charles was trying to, you know, get in his pants, basically. And he was a minor at the time this happened as well. So that came out. And of course, James Charles did the whole, what most of these big YouTubers do, the apology tour, where they come out with a video explaining their side of the story, saying that these allegations were not 100% true, and then also apologizing for it. It was just like a weird time for James Charles. Now, you would think that a big influencer like James Charles getting caught with his hand in the little boy cookie jar. I know, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said it like that. That sounds sus as hell. I do apologize. That was not, my brain processed that too quickly and didn't really think of how bad that would sound, but you get where I'm going with it. James Charles getting caught talking to minors and trying to, very controversial. That was a big no-no for James Charles. But James Charles survived that situation. Again, don't know how. Like I said earlier, people act like they care, but do they really? Because everyone just forgave and forgot and moved on without the James Charles trying to solicit underage straight male, and also a couple of other straight men that were pressured by James Charles and other alleged underage people that James Charles was talking to. But again, James Charles survived because James Charles is still here. We're still talking about James Charles. Now, why are we talking about James Charles? Because back in 2025, I believe the date was, I do vaguely remember this. I had to go back and rewatch it. But a young lady by the name of Kayla Malec, I hope I didn't butcher her last name. I apologize if I did. She came out with a couple of videos on her channel. She's also a big YouTube influencer who was friends with James Charles. She came forward last year and basically was telling everybody about her domestic violence situation with her now convicted. By the way, I'm fast forwarding. The man has been convicted as of this month. A few days ago, actually, I believe. Actually, no, I think it was like last week or maybe a couple days ago. But either way, the piece of shit's gone in jail. But Kayla came out and basically told her story about how she was in an abusive relationship with this other influencer. See where I'm going with this? All these fucking influencers. Evan Johnson. Now, her and Evan Johnson, her story is really sad. He was violent with her, put hands on her, did some really messed up stuff to this girl. Okay. And that was last year. Finally, she went to court. He got, arrested, jail time. I personally don't think it's enough time. I think that it said that he got up to 18 months. I could be mistaken on the months, but it's definitely not more than what he got considering what he did to this girl. Okay. So during that whole ordeal, right, it had come out, Kayla had come out, and his relationship, James Charles had a relationship with Evan Johnson, right? Now, the accusations are as follows: that James Charles maintained a friendship after the abuse happened. We don't have to say alleged because he's convicted. He did this shit, right? So after the abuse, James Charles remained friends with Evan. Potentially, apparently, these allegations that James Charles housed Evan Johnson at one point, and then the big one that James Charles was having sexual relationships with Evan Johnson, the abuser of his friend at the time, now former friend, Kayla. So that's kind of where the story is now, and there's a lot of backlash for James Charles. Not enough, obviously, because again, these people, these influencers, these people have too much power. Like, it's crazy how people are just like, oh my God, James Charles is so innocent. Everyone's so jealous of James Charles. They keep coming for his neck. How could you be jealous of somebody when you're pretty much the same size? Like, this is somebody who's a friend. Goes to show you there's no fucking loyalty with these influencers. They do not care about each other. You see them on camera with them. Oh my God, this is my bestie. Look, we're doing makeup with each other. And then turns out you are still socializing with this person you claim you love and is your friend. You know that this woman was abused. And you're still talking to this person. It's crazy to me. No, you're not still banned. We fixed that problem. Hello, Susie. So I have some videos that we're gonna react to. I didn't watch all of them. I watched a few of them just to kind of get an idea to make sure these are the right videos. But I like to do blind reactions to these things. So we're gonna. This is Kayla talking about the situation. This is what TikTok. But hold on, let me go to it. Actually, sorry, I was on the wrong page. Because this is such a sad story. And the funny thing is, because James Charles responded apparently after the trial, from what I read, that the response from James Charles came after the trial for Evan Johnson. And I saw one thing that I definitely can't wait for you guys to see, where I'm gonna definitely call James Charles out, because it's weird how the guilty always tell on themselves and they don't even realize that they freaking told on themselves. It's actually pretty sad when you think about it, because I'm like, bro, how are you gonna make this video replying to all this and claim there was no wrongdoings, and then you show a screenshot which pretty much kind of confirms that you were fucking in the wrong. God, I hate how YouTube is now the new layout, because like trying to find my playlist is annoying right now. I'm like, where is my playlist? All right. So we're gonna do Kayla Malec response video about the Evan Johnson after court stuff. I want to hear that. And then we're gonna react to after court stuff. No, we're gonna listen to the response to James Charles, because I think this is all. Actually, I want to actually see the response video about her feelings on the Evan Johnson thing. Actually, no, I'm debating. This is tough. You know what? We're gonna start with James Charles, dumbass. How about that? We're gonna start with James Charles, dumbass. So we're gonna start with James Charles, dumbass. Cause yeah, this is wild. I want to hear James Charles bullshit first. Let's start with the bullshit first. How about that? We'll start with the bullshit first. What up, Blue Jay? How many times can James Charles even get canceled? We'll never get that pest off the internet. I agree. I definitely agree. James Charles is absolutely You can tell when Ray has things planned. I had it planned, but you know what? I was like, you know what? I do want to start with James Charles bullshit first, and then we'll get to Kayla's stuff because I'd rather just hear James Charles try to spin all this stuff that he's about to spin. And let me turn down the quality. The quality. Because I realize my streams, when I'm showing stuff on streams, the quality gets all messed up if it's too high. But all right, let's react to James Charles's bullshit.
I do not support Evan Johnson in any way, shape, or form. Let me make that fucking clear. I don't support him. I don't support violence against women. And I sure as hell do not support the disgusting, deplorable, violent, heinous acts that he committed against Kayla Malec behind closed doors. I really fucking hope and pray that when this goes to court this week, Kayla gets justice for what that man put her through. At the same time, the videos that I'm currently seeing all over my For You page are disturbing to me. This is not TikTok tea and drama for everyone else's entertainment. This is real people dealing with some really serious shit. The conversation has completely shifted focus away from Kayla Malec and how she was brave enough to speak out about what she went through to how James Charles involved, the downfall, Bye Sister 2.0, where's the apology video? It's distracting from
No, see, this is the thing that's bullshit. This is deflection, to my opinion. Because here's the thing, right? Now, if if the situation isn't true, right? Why is Kayla the one speaking about it? About why you guys aren't friends and how you would like? Why is the victim one talking about it? Why aren't you, instead of doing this video to try to clear your name? Why are you not really talking to this person about it and saying like, no, these are not true? Because obviously there were receipts. Right, there are receipts shown that basically kind of prove that there was still a relationship between Evan Johnson and James Charles, right? So why is it, instead of just trying to talk this out with Kayla and try to get that story straight with her and fix that, you have to take to the internet? I honestly think that this was a stupid decision for James Charles to even respond. I think that regardless if the internet wanted a response, I want people to fucking understand, because this is what pisses me off. Y'all, when it comes to what James Charles said, which is the only thing I agree with, when it comes to people's personal life and stuff, even if they're influencers, they don't fucking owe the audience an explanation all the time. Sometimes you just gotta pick and choose your battles, and this was not a battle that James Charles should pick, especially since whenever James Charles is in some type of controversy, everyone always brings up all the old shit. That shit never goes away. So it's probably best at this point for James Charles to just not fucking address it, to just let it fucking, like, deal with it behind the scenes. Deal with it behind the scenes. Then when everything's all squashed and stuff, say, hey, listen, me and Kayla talked. We're good. It's over. We're moving on, going back to business. But instead, all these influencers make the mistake that I really feel that, like, you guys could disagree with me, but I really feel like at the end of the day, when it comes to real problems involving these people, especially something as serious as this, you don't have to come forward and say shit sometimes, man. You really don't. Because you have to understand, I see this all the time. You have to understand the court of the internet, right? The jury of the internet. People already have their minds made up, right? So say, for example, James Charles was actually innocent, right? People who still hate James Charles will never accept that and still say you're guilty. It doesn't fucking matter sometimes. I'm sorry to say, but it doesn't matter sometimes. Sometimes the best course of action is to not say something publicly, because you don't owe anyone an explanation. You owe it to Kayla. That's who you owe it to. You owe it to Kayla, the victim in this situation. You don't owe it to your audience. Your audiences are not the victims. Kayla was the victim. So you should be speaking to Kayla. You know what I'm saying? But right, James Charles like, I don't be supporting abusers, but I'll sure hook up with them. You know what I'm saying? I just think that that's just crazy where these YouTubers always do this, and then they wonder why people are just like, nah, bruh.
From the actual issue at hand, which is domestic violence. I have not spoken out about this for a couple of different reasons. The main one being, this is going to court this week. Anything I or anybody else says online can and probably will be used by either Evan's defense attorney or the judge to affect the outcome of its ruling. And I didn't want to put Kayla at any risk for that. I hate that I'm getting online and filming this video right now, but I truthfully have no other choice, because I've also spent the last several weeks trying to get in contact with the only person involved in this that actually matters and needs to hear the truth, and that's Kayla Malec. And she has been unwilling to have a conversation with me. And frankly, I don't fucking blame her. After I watched the laughable interview between Be Better and Zach Sellers, I wouldn't want to have a conversation with me either if I was being fed complete bullshit lies and misinformation from the person whose only source of information is the same man that lied to and abused me for 9 months straight.
I mean, here's my thing on this though, right? Is like, I don't know Kayla from a hole in the wall, obviously, right? But like most people, right? When you're in a situation like this, yeah, on one hand, I agree. I wouldn't want to talk to a friend either who was hooking up with my ex after knowing all the abuse I went through, right? If one of my friends that I'm close to now is still in contact with my ex after everything my ex put me through, I probably would not want to talk to that person either. You know what I'm saying? However, I would still, without actual proof, right? If somebody didn't show me proof and just said it, yeah, I'd be mad, but I'd want to know, like, how do you know? Where are you getting this information from? How do you know for a fact this is happening, right? Now, I would say maybe Kayla saw enough evidence, which would basically convince her to say, no, I don't want to hear out James Charles, right? Because maybe in the beginning, okay, I just heard this. I don't want to talk to you right now. Let me fucking calm down, process this, and then maybe I could talk later. But I feel like maybe there was more to the story that we don't know, because I think that when it came down to it, maybe Kayla did see enough evidence that had basically said, yeah, he did this shit. Fuck him. I don't want to hear the bullshit you're spewing. Because also, you have to remember, James Charles is already known for any time James Charles is accused of something, James Charles has not really taken much accountability for any of it. Like, when the friggin' whole situation with the minors came up, James Charles kind of apologized for, I guess, pressuring or trying to pressure straight guys into relationships with him. I guess. I don't really remember. It was so long ago. But overall, James Charles has never come across as somebody who wasn't going to try to weasel and talk their way out of a situation. So I don't blame Kayla either. You're right. I don't blame Kayla either. But I also feel like Kayla definitely probably saw enough or even had enough evidence presented to her that was like, it wasn't just a he said, she said situation. My opinion, I don't know for a fact. I'm just putting my opinion out there.
At this point, I have no choice other than to get online, tell my story, and then prove my story to be true in a court of law. I am suing Zach Sellers and anybody else that thinks it's funny or entertaining to get online and spread defamatory and slanderous lies, misinformation, completely bullshit, made-up stories for the sake of views, likes, engagement, and galaxies. I'm done. This all started at the beginning of 2020.
So James Charles is gonna sue everybody now. Okay. I mean, where was that energy when you were being accused of talking to kids, bro? Like teenage boys, straight boys. Where was that same energy? So I guess it wasn't defamatory or slander back then, right? Because where was that energy? James Charles did a video saying he was stupid and desperate when he was first exposed for messaging boys. Oh yeah. But I also said that all these stuff is like completely, it wasn't that bad, guys. It's slander, defaming. Like, fuck out of here, James Charles. Fuck out of here, James Charles.
25, when I reached out to Kayla about her.
And also, here's the funny thing too. Sorry, I had to pause it again. I hope James Charles sues because Discovery is going to be fun. We love Discovery. We love Discovery, guys.
Her and Evan being in a Valentine's Day video together. She told me she couldn't. She was crashing out because they had just broken up because he was crazy. I tried to lighten the mood a little bit and make a lighthearted joke asking, could I have him now? And then asked what actually happened between them.
Okay, see, this is a screenshot I'm talking about. I made a lighthearted joke. Can I have him now? Bro, right there. That quote joke. That's what I have a problem with, okay? Because, like, your friend just told you that she broke up with her ex. He's crazy. And your response to that is, can I have him now? Well, I'm trying to lighten the mood by saying, yo, what? If my friend said that to me after I just told them, like, yo, me and my boyfriend just broke up, he's fucking crazy, dude. Like, anytime somebody says that, like, they mean that shit. That motherfucker crazy, right? And your response is, oh, well, can I have him then? I like crazy. What the bro, you're my friend. Oh, I'm just kidding. That's not funny. what? Especially like maybe at this point, I'll give James Charles a slight benefit of the doubt here, right? At this point, I don't know if James Charles knows, right? I don't know if James Charles knows, because if James Charles knew that this person was abusive, right, to Kayla, okay, and said that joke, what the fuck? That's not funny. Now, if he didn't know and he just thought like crazy, like, he was just crazy, but he wasn't abusive, you know, I maybe the joke to him might have hit different, but I'm just saying, like, that's still not something you should joke about when your friend just tells you that they just broke up with their ex. So can I have them? You know what I'm saying? And right, exactly. Don't get around what he said, so he has to spin it that way. Yeah, it was just jokes, guys. Just joking, just kidding, not kidding. Like, if he would, I'm down. It's one of those jokes that fucking, oh my God, I know you guys hate hearing me say the narcissist word, but like, that's what narcissists do all the time. They mask the truth in the form of jokes. Like, kidding, not kidding. Like, oh yeah, nah, babe, you getting fat. What? Oh no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But low key, like, they're like, yeah, you getting fat, bitch. I'm not attracted to you no more. That's why I said I was letting you know I'm not attracted to you no more. Didn't you get it? When I made jokes about you being fat all the time, I was really just telling you I wasn't attracted to you anymore. But you didn't say that. It's like that. That's what I feel like this says to me. Like James Charles literally just saying, I want your man. Now that he's single, he's like, that's crazy. That's crazy to even bring up after the allegations that you were sleeping with this dude too. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy. That's a wild way of saying. Oh man, the way these people get away with shit blows my fucking mind.
All she told me was that he did awful things to her and that I would find out more in her 30-part TikTok series. She said she was upset that she helped build his platform based off of lies and abuse, and whenever she was healed, she was going to get online and expose him. I'm going to be so honest. I did not take this conversation very seriously. And
no one understands me. If I actually
you think, James Charles, you think, we know you didn't take it seriously. Wow, better help. That's wild. We know you didn't take it seriously.
Obviously, now knowing what we all do, I fucking should have. Reading it back now, it is super clear that she was using humor to cope, and that is perfectly fine and valid. But at the time, I genuinely interpreted these messages as a messy breakup. Maybe he cheated. Maybe they got into a drunken argument that ended badly. I could have never imagined what.
No, see, this is again bullshit. You are too grown for this, Mr. Charles. Listen, if your friend told you they broke up and they said he's crazy, right? That could be interpreted in many things. Maybe he was just like legit crazy, over, controlling, whatever the situation. Saying someone's crazy is not the same as assuming somebody just got a messy breakup because they like he cheated. If he cheated on her, that'd be the first thing she said. Women will have no problem dragging a fucking cheater. Women have no problem dragging a cheater. And as a friend, she would definitely say, nah, I found out he was cheating on me with whoever the fuck he was cheating with. Like, are you serious right now? Are you serious? James Charles, you literally spend most of your time around women and you have not caught on to how women really talk and act. You try to act like a woman, right? You don't understand, like, if you got cheated on or you, like, put yourself in her shoes, James Charles. If you were with somebody and they cheated on you and you were talking to your friend about it, right? Would you not just tell them that they cheated? And you can sit there and say, well, everyone reacts differently. But bro, 90%, a high percentage of people, when they're cheated on, are going to tell their person that they're talking to, like, yeah, what happened? Well, he cheated on me, right? She said he was crazy. Okay? And even so, you know what? Why didn't you ask? Why didn't you ask what he did? I just assumed it was messy, a breakup. Okay, well, you never asked. You never asked. She just said you're going to find out. She didn't want to tell you then and there what happened because she didn't want it to come out. She wanted to be the one to tell the story, right? Which is why I'm assuming she didn't want to tell you exactly what happened because she wanted to tell the story, right? Okay. But you also didn't seem to really ask or dive deep in, right? And again, you showed the messages. She told you what she was doing. You respected that. Cool. But don't say, I assumed it was just a messy breakup and that he cheated. Because she probably would have just told you straight up that he cheated. And then you could find out, like, the whole story later. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm not buying this. I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. Like, I feel like maybe I'm just giving James Charles too much credit to be smarter than that, or, you know, have some more common sense. Maybe I'm just being too generous.
She was actually going through behind the scenes. A lot of Kayla's own friends and family have said they had no idea what she was going through. I wish I could go back in time and been there for her, tried to help her. I wish that I would have asked more questions, but frankly, I didn't feel comfortable doing so. First and foremost, she obviously wasn't ready to talk about it yet based on her last message. And secondly, me and Kayla Malec just weren't close friends. I don't say that to take away from her feelings about this. I don't say that to undermine what she went through. We've only met a couple of times. We collabed in 2023. She guest starred on a podcast with me in 2024, and we hung out at our mutual friend's Halloween party back in October. We've never hung out one-on-one. We've never had a deep conversation. I just really didn't know her that well to be able to interpret these messages and have a better idea of what was actually happening behind closed doors.
So here's the thing, right? Okay, cool. I don't have a personal relationship with like a lot of people online, but let me tell you right now, if anyone were to message me about a breakup, I would look at them in a friendly manner and I would treat them like a friend, you know, because regardless of how close you are with somebody, you could still be a human. You can still have empathy. When somebody is telling you about something like that, like, what do you mean? I didn't feel comfortable. For what? You not care enough about people in general, James Charles? Because like anyone in my chat right now, if they reached out to me and told me anything that crazy was going on in their lives, I would be a human being and be there for them, you know? So that's kind of not an excuse of, oh, we weren't that close, guys. So like, that's why I didn't. Like, okay, but you have somebody that you do know talking to you about a situation with a crazy ex, and you kind of just, like you said, act like, oh, well, I don't know you like that. James Charles is incapable of empathy. I agree, because this is a bullshit argument. Like, any single person in my chat, listen, if you guys are going through a bad relationship and you need someone to talk to, I'm here. You can talk to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to know you personally to have empathy for anyone. You could be a stranger on the street. A stranger on the street can come to me. Remember how I told you guys about the story about my situation with actor Christopher Kamen Lee, and how his girlfriend felt comfortable enough to tell me that she was going through some shit and I was there for her the whole time. You know, barely knew these people, but she felt comfortable enough to tell me what was going on because she needed someone, right? She clearly needed somebody to talk to, and I was there. So what am I supposed to say? Well, I don't know you like that. Sorry your boyfriend's beating on you, but like, I don't know. You know? No. You can have empathy for people, period. You don't have to be in a close relationship with them. That's weird. That just shows you just don't care enough. And it's kind of crazy because he says this, but before he said all that, what did he say? Well, looking back on it, you know, I should have been there for her. I should have asked more questions. But guys, I didn't really know her like that, so that's why I didn't do all those things. Looking back on it, I should have. That's crazy. I have a titty addiction. Will you help me? Yeah, there's plenty of lovely ladies in the chat with nice titties, especially this one. And it's true. Ray has even been putting up with my crazy ass for years now, right? Like y'all, like, it's called having empathy, man. And James Charles has absolutely no empathy. So should I have empathy for James Charles? Should we have empathy for James Charles? Should we give James Charles what he doesn't give to other people?
And I wish more than anything I did, because I should have never gotten involved with this, but I did not know what she was going through. I really...
Hold on, pause. My thing's act up. Did you hear what James Charles said? I should have never got involved in this. The girl reached out to you and told you what was going on. What did you get involved with? You shouldn't have gotten involved with her ex. I agree. You shouldn't have gotten involved with him.
Really fucking hate to admit it, but I did have a brief friendship with Evan Johnson that started and ended well before I ever learned about any of the violence that was going on behind the scenes. He reached out to me a couple of days later, asking me for advice, and told me the same exact story that Zach Sellers believed and then repeated on the Be Better podcast, which was that the relationship was toxic, they both said things and did things that they shouldn't have, and a bunch of other stories that genuinely made me believe Evan Johnson was the victim in the situation.
Okay, so, oh no. Oh, here we go, guys. here we go. So let's recap what this person just said. Let's recap what James Charles has said. Okay? James Charles is saying here, okay, that so it's weird, right? Because remember what James Charles said. I didn't have a very close relationship with Kayla, right? So that means you also didn't have a relationship close enough with Evan, but here you are talking to a guy that you're obviously attracted to, right? So you're definitely going to give Evan more of your attention and believe Evan because you try to get in his pants. I'm just going to call it what it is because that's what it looks like to me. That's what it looks like to me. Well, Evan reached out to me to talk to me about the situation too, and he told me that they were in a toxic relationship, and it sounded to me like he was a victim. Yeah, it was easy for you to believe a guy who you literally made a joke about wanting to have over the female, James Charles, which is what I'm hearing, James Charles. That's crazy. Y'all understand, right? What just happened? I heard his side of the story, and it sounded to me like he was a victim. Like he was a victim. Even though I heard the same thing from Kayla, right? Same thing that the guy said on the podcast, right? This is what he's saying. I heard that the same stuff that was being said is that Kayla was the problem. Before I found out about the abusive stuff.
He told me that he moved back to Nashville to go to church and get therapy and try to become a better man. And he seemed vulnerable. He seemed real, and he seemed scared that Kayla was going to get online and start telling lies about him. And he knew exactly what to say to relate it back to a situation that I was in that made me have sympathy for him and be on his side. I feel so fucking dumb for ever believing him, but when I was in a similar situation, all I cared about was anybody treating me like a human being and hearing me out and being there for him. So that's what I tried to provide.
Kind of like you denied Kayla. Kind of like you said you denied Kayla, right? It's funny how that works, right? I wish somebody was empathetic towards me, but I couldn't have been empathetic towards Kayla, is what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing.
We became closer. We would start FaceTiming. He was very suicidal and depressed. And eventually he told me that he wanted to come out to LA to escape and get his mind off of things for a weekend. So I invited him out. All we did was sit on the couch, order food, watch movies. But over the course of the weekend, I slowly started to notice that some of his stories were not exactly lining up. There were inconsistencies, and I started to get worried that I might be on the wrong side of things. And that was
so basically, before I continue all this bullshit, right? James Charles, you do understand that you are collaborating the stories that are out there about you, right? Because what are the allegations? That he had a relationship with Evans Johnson after the breakup with Kayla, and that Evan Johnson stayed over with James Charles, which he's confirming both those things are true. Because he did say this was after the breakup, right? But I didn't know about the abuse or anything like that. I only heard from the other side that they were toxic for. Listen, that's crazy. First of all, if you and Kayla are cool, why are you inviting her ex to your house? It shows that your priority was never your relationship with Kayla, which is what people are calling you out for. And now you're trying to downplay and say, well, we were never that close. We did a few, we never hung out like that. So basically your defense is, I never truly cared about Kayla, so I didn't care when I was hanging out with her ex-boyfriend. Fuck the abuse aside. The abuse is worse, but let's put the abuse shit aside. All right? That's already a fucking infraction, James Charles. Like chicks before dicks, right? Bros before hoes. Okay? You should not have been hanging out with somebody who thought that you guys were friends, quote, hanging out with her ex-boyfriend. That's crazy. Fucking crazy. Abuse aside, the abuse makes it worse, but like, why are you hanging out with her fucking ex-boyfriend in the first place? Oh, he made me feel sorry for him. But you didn't talk to Kayla about it. Kayla didn't know about it. Was Kayla in on the whole you were spending time with her ex? Maybe if you had talked to Kayla about it a little bit more than Evan, you would have actually found out what the real problem was. So fuck you and this bullshit fucking excuse you're making for yourself. Like, I mean that. Fuck you and your bullshit excuse. You didn't care enough about Kayla to hear her side of the story. You only cared about the dude, and for you to sit there and not understand why people think you had sex with this dude, or was attracted to this dude, or trying to fuck this dude, you already showed in this video alone evidence that probably is what happened. You left it up to interpretation. Here's the thing. Never come out with a fucking "this is my story" video and give anyone or any ways to interpret things how they interpret it. I don't believe this fucking story at all. There is way too many fucking patterns with James Charles that would suggest that everything's being said about James Charles is true. Personally, my opinion, so I don't get fucking sued, but I'm not a big enough YouTuber where James Charles would give a fuck, thank God. Thank God I still am allowed to have freedom of speech, so motherfuckers like that don't even notice me. But I don't believe your story, James Charles. I do not believe anything you're saying right now. Because your pattern of behavior in the past, the math ain't mathin'. The math ain't mathin'. Thank you, Snowdub. Taco Tuesday tomorrow night. Maybe, possibly. We'll see. We'll see what I'm up to. Pointless Story says he's just living his life. What is he living his life? What does any of this have to do with him just living his life? I would like some elaborations on that comment. Who's just living his life? James Charles living his life? Hanging out with his friend's ex-boyfriend who beat the shit out of her for a long time? Is that what we're talking about? Is that the life we're living? We just gonna hang out with people's exes who beat the shit out of them? Sounds about right. Maybe James Charles wanted to get his ass beat too. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe that's a kink. Maybe outside of pursuing straight men, James Charles also wants to get beat up. I don't know what to tell you. Not kink shaming, but, it's just pointing out the elephants in the room.
Was confirmed as soon as Kayla noticed that he was at my house and I had to lie to her. I didn't know what to do. I realized then that I was in the middle of a very fucking messy situation that I should have never gotten involved with in the first place, but this man was staying with me and I didn't know how to get out of it. Later on that night, I told Evan straight up I was...
You know how you got out of it? Not invite him to your house in the fucking first place.
Uncomfortable. I was upset that I had to lie to her and that we could not hang out any further. He respected that, and the next morning he flew home. As soon as Evan left LA, I immediately started making myself unavailable to him because I recognized that he was not the man he was telling me he was. But it wasn't until a month later, when Kayla uploaded her video, He Doesn't Love You, that I actually got to sit and watch how much of a monster he is. My jaw was on the floor for all 2 hours of that video. I could not believe what I was watching and seeing. The horrendous verbal abuse, the violent physical abuse. I was shocked. I was ashamed for not taking me and Kayla's conversation more seriously. I was embarrassed for ever believing that man's lies and manipulation. And I was angry with myself that I ever allowed that man into my home. It was horrifying, and I'm so proud of Kayla for being able to speak up. A couple of days later, I started getting messages on Instagram from Zach Sellers, Evan's best friend, basically warning me that Evan had lied to both of us and telling me that I should cut him off. I didn't see these messages at first until he made a public TikTok accusing me of still supporting Evan behind the scenes, and I messaged him right away because I was confused. His messages genuinely seemed nice. He seemed like he was checking in, warning me to make sure that I was okay and have cut Evan off because he knew that we were both told the same exact lies and stories from Evan. The only reason he even knew I was involved at all was because he was physically with Evan as his best friend, supporting him every single day. It took...
So it's kind of funny how the best friend is, I believe, the one who came out with all this, right? So like the best friend of somebody saying all this stuff and now him saying it's lies. Like, again, he confirmed that some of like the stuff is true, but he's spitting it in a way where it's like, but I did nothing wrong. Like, so how is it lies? You like, I swear, I hope that James Charles goes to court with this. I hope that James Charles goes to court with this. Are we saying that no one can make mistakes, including James Charles? No, we're saying that James Charles has made too many mistakes. When is he going to learn from his mistakes? You tell me. You tell me. Because it seems like once you get away with the first mistake and you realize you're pretty much untouchable, you're going to keep making those mistakes. And he is spitting it. Because here's the thing, Pointless Story. What were the accusations on James Charles? That after Evan and Kayla broke up, right? He remained friends with him, even had Evan stay at his place for a little bit, right? Those two things, James Charles confirmed. James Charles himself confirmed that, yes, he still had a relationship with Evan after the breakup. Yes, he had Evan stay at his house. Those are facts that James Charles is confirming did happen. He's just basically making it sound like, well, yeah, but like I didn't know about the abuse. I didn't know how bad it was. Well, he did, because he heard it from Evan. He heard it from Evan's side. The difference is Evan spun it where he wasn't actually the person who was who was doing it. He was a victim, right? That's the thing. But he never went to Kayla. He never went to Kayla and asked her for her side, right? So we're supposed to just listen to his side, but he didn't have the chance. He didn't want to hear it from Kayla. He heard Evan's truth. What truth? It was lies. There was no Evan's truth. It was a lie, right? That's why Evan's sitting in jail right now. So there was no Evan's truth. Okay? There was no Evan's truth. There was Evan's bullshit. Okay? And James Charles has been known to pursue straight men. Right? Even in the screenshot that James Charles provided, he makes a joke to a girl who just said that she and her boyfriend just broke up and he was crazy. And James Charles' joking response was, well, can I have him? You know what I'm saying? So, no, listen, if you're a James Charles fan, keep being a James Charles fan. Keep making excuses every time James Charles gets exposed for being a fucking shitty person to other people. That's fine with me. You do what you want to do. You are free to do what you want to do. But what you're not going to do is come into my chat and try to convince me that James Charles doesn't deserve to get fucking called out for his bullshit. Because it is bullshit. It is 100% bullshit. You tell me, what would you do in this situation? You're going to act the same way when a friend reaches out to you and says they broke up with their ex and they're crazy and that they're dropping a video soon. You're going to go and just be like, okay, when that same boyfriend reaches out to you and try to like hear them out before the other person has a chance to speak. Who are you more close to? Who is your real friend? James Charles even said, like, I wasn't even really friends with Evan until he reached out to me about this shit. Okay, so which is it? Don't even make this about him being gay. It ain't about him being gay. Don't do that. I'm the wrong one to do that to. It has nothing to do with being gay. But he is known to be doing that. He is known to be doing that. So again, why are you deflecting? Straight men get away with this all the time. Okay, so does that make it okay for gay men to get away with it? I'm very confused. I don't understand what you're trying to say. Because, like, you're arguing for James Charles, which you're free to do. I'm not mad at it. I'm just saying, I think it's a little crazy how we're just going to ignore the fact that James Charles confirmed 2 of the accusations and then threatening to sue people, right? He's threatening to sue people for it. But he confirmed 2 of those accusations. I'll make it however I want. You can do that. I don't care. Like, I'm not telling you. I'm just saying it's just crazy. This whole conversation is crazy. Evan isn't getting the majority of the backlash. He's in jail. He's in jail. That's the most ultimate backlash you can get is arrested. I'm not saying James Charles needs to be arrested, but we have a right to call him out for being a shitty person. So that's what I'm doing. He's a shitty person, and I will continue to call him a shitty person. Social media backlash. So what do you mean he didn't get social media backlash? Yes, he did get social media backlash. And again, who cares? He's in jail. He committed a crime, babes. He's in jail. I don't care about his social media backlash. He needed to go to jail. James Charles didn't commit a crime. Being a shitty person isn't a crime. Again, semantics here. I don't care about the backlash Evan did or did not get, because he definitely got backlash. But more importantly, I don't care about the backlash he got. He committed a crime. He went to jail. That's all that matters. James Charles deserves a backlash. 100% James Charles deserves a backlash. How many times are you going to give James Charles a fucking pass? What's your explanation for him talking to the fucking minors back in the day? Because clearly you still forgive him for that because you're here now defending him on this. So we're just going to act like he didn't talk to all those minors that he admitted he talked to, apologize for it, and we just forgot it happened. I was young, dumb, and lonely. I made mistakes. How do you be a grown-ass adult and make the mistake of talking to a fucking person under the age of 18 and that's a mistake? That's not a fucking mistake. You are the adult in the situation. Colleen Ballinger, you are the adult in the situation. That's not a fucking mistake. They made up lies. Yo, James Charles admitted. I'm going to say this. I normally will not fucking ban people. But if you're going to come in here and ignore the fucking facts that are out there and the admittance that these people have put out there, they've admitted to these conversations. They've admitted to having these conversations with these underage people. And there were people who he knew were younger. Those DMs exist. They are out there. I don't like cancel culture. I'm not trying to cancel anyone. The funny thing is, was James Charles ever canceled? Has he been ever canceled? No. No. No, here's the beauty of it. You don't have to sit here and listen to it. You don't have to sit here and listen to it. Banning you is not canceling you. Am I preventing you from talking anywhere else? No, I'm just preventing you from talking here. Because I have the power to do so. I have that power to do so. I can't silence your mouth. I can't silence your fingers to type. I can't silence it. You can go on your own platform and call me out if you want. It's not canceling you. See, that's the thing where you people get it twisted. It's not canceling you. I don't have to sit here and listen to you, and you don't have to sit here and listen to me. See how that works? We don't have to listen to each other. I don't care if you're only engaging my stream, and you're really not. There are people typing in my chat. See, this is where the bad faith arguments, bye-bye, have a nice day. Don't come back. Now I'm going to continue to my stream. I ain't got time for it, bro.
Me 3 days with Evan to realize that something wasn't right here. It took Zach 3 months. So to act this way privately and then to get online as if I'm some monster was wild to me. What started off as a video of James Charles supporting Evan Johnson behind the scenes snowballed into more videos, more content, and then live streams. Every single night, Zach has been live asking for galaxies in exchange for showing more receipts. He's been asking his followers for their cities and locations so he can go on tour with Kayla after this is all over with. He's even been asking for donations on PayPal to fund a merch line. This has nothing.
Now I'll say this. Do I think James Charles is a monster? No, I don't think James Charles is a fucking monster. Do I think James Charles is a piece of shit? 100%. I think James Charles is a piece of shit. Just like the person was trying to point out, you're saying this and all this stuff. Bro, shut the fuck up. Miss me with all that bullshit. Because like I said, we have pattern or behavior. You do understand pattern of behavior is the thing? Do y'all not understand pattern behavior is a thing? Because it is. It is. Good crime calls, gotta go. Well, have fun. Thanks for being here. Yes, I'll text you later. My God. Did I just say cancel culture? Well, it doesn't work. He's still going right. That's what I'm saying. When people say cancel culture, you can't cancel James Charles. You cannot cancel James Charles. You cannot cancel James Charles. James Charles is untouchable. James Charles could go out there and freaking drown a bunch of puppies and James Charles will still have a platform. Because that's just what the internet is. Just like that person came in here trying to justify everything that James Charles has ever done. And that's the type of people that keep James Charles relevant. When I talk about cancel, I hate cancel culture. Have you not realized ain't nobody can be canceled? These influencers are fucking untouchable. Because they got too many people who don't give a fucking shit about the bad behaviors. Like, the funny thing is if James Charles were to call out somebody for the exact same thing that James Charles has done, everyone would support James Charles. Everyone would support James Charles. But when James Charles does it, nope, let's hear James Charles' side of it. We gotta hear James Charles' side of the story, guys, before we make judgment of cancellation.
To do with getting justice for Kayla and everything about making an opportunity for himself. And the perfect one came along when Be Better flew him out to Canada for their podcast interview. Aside from the timeline that I just told you guys, everything else in that hour-long episode is complete bullshit. To start rumors about somebody online is one thing. Unfortunately, I know that comes with the job, but to publicly accuse them of prostitution is ridiculous. There is no proof, no evidence of any of the ridiculous claims that Zach is making because they did not happen, which is why I have no choice other than to take legal action. But before I do that, I want to quickly take a second and clear the air on some things that have really set me over the edge. First and foremost, Evan Johnson and I did not in any way, shape, or form have a physically sexual relationship. We did not have sex while he was here, and I did not, under any circumstances, pay Evan Johnson for sexual favors. Not in person, and certainly not online through a secret OF account where I'm apparently funding his entire life. That is absurd. Not that it's anybody's business, but I do have an OF account. I'm a grown adult. I barely use it, but Zach, if you would like to see, I will gladly send you a screenshot of my transaction history. I have nothing to hide, and I have not sent Evan Johnson $1 single. Zach claims to know all this information to be true because he pressured Evan into getting drunk and telling him what happened on the trip.
Like, what did I say? I said the best friend of Evan coming out with this. Where did he get it from? He got it from Evan. He got that information from Evan. Now, my whole thing that's really weird. What up, Dr. Sidious? My thing that's weird about this is, right, okay, so Evan got drunk apparently and told his best friend what happened on the trip. And that's where the whole I had sex or I got paid for sex from James Charles. Fucking yikes. Fucking yikes. I don't know, man. And how do you pressure someone into saying something that's not true? Like, I want to know how. And the thing is, how does James Charles know that? How does James Charles know that Evan was drunk and was pressured into telling that his friend these stories? Unless, what, did James Charles talk to Evan again? How did James Charles get this information? Because, like, were you there, James Charles? Were you in the room? Because I know I wasn't in the room to say you had sex with this man or not, but how do you know that Evan was drunk and told somebody about this story?
I don't know if Evan lied to him to make the trip seem more fun and exciting, or if Zaki literally just made this up for funsies. I would like to believe that that isn't the case and that he was manipulated in this situation as...
Okay. I gotta laugh again because James Charles, if Evan lied to you about the situation with Kayla, what makes you think that Evan wouldn't lie to his friend about what happened on the trip? Why are we just jumping to that conclusion, James Charles? See, this is why, James Charles, you're not a smart person. Like, hello, we just watched it where he said, oh, I found out that Evan was lying to me and other people and his best friend the whole time, right? But now when his friend comes out and talks about this situation, he's like, I don't know if Evan lied to him or not. You don't? Didn't you just say that Evan lied to you? And this dude, the best friend, reached out to you and told you that he just found out that Evan lied to him too? Now, in fairness, I'm going to give James Charles another courtesy here. Why did the best friend believe everything Evan said about the stuff about James Charles, right? When he said that he found out that Evan was lying to him about the relationship with Kayla, right? Math ain't mathing for me on this one, though. So now I'm going to sit here and say, do I believe that maybe they had sex? It's possible. It's possible. James Charles has a habit of wanting to smash, especially if if Evan is a straight guy. It's not above the realm of reality that James Charles would pursue a straight man when they have that straight man in their home, right? But on the other hand, why are you, James Charles, and Evan's friend, Zach, is it? Why are you guys believing Evan's story about what happened that night? And when I say believe, I mean mostly the best friend. Why would you believe what happened on the trip with James Charles? And now James Charles saying, I don't know if Evan lied. I keep saying Ethan. If Evan lied, like, what do you mean? You just said that you found out that Evan lied to you, right? So now all of a sudden, when it comes to you, like, why would Evan lie about what happened here? I don't know. Why would Evan lie about beating his girlfriend?
As well, but he claims to have seen a video on Evan's phone of him having sex with me. Zach, post it. If you have the receipt, if you have the video evidence, you can upload it. You have my full consent and permission. I've had far worse.
Wow. I was going to say, I mean, I wouldn't post it because it can be considered revenge porn, but you're giving consent. I agree. I agree. If that video exists, you have James Charles' permission to release it. And it's not revenge porn. You 100% have. And I would tell you right now, if you have that proof, and James Charles is telling you to post it, and James Charles saying I'm not embarrassed about it, just post it, then fucking post it. Fucking post it. Then I'll believe that James Charles 100% without question about doubt did it. You should post it. Cause you got permission. You never get permission to post somebody else's sex tapes, man. You have somebody saying post the sex tape. I agree. Post the shit.
Posted to me online that I didn't consent to, go right ahead. But you can't because there is no video of something that did not happen. Be Better doesn't even stand by these claims because he's now added a disclaimer to their interview that says he was not able to verify a single thing that Zach said. Second, there's a rumor going around that I paid Evan Johnson's bail. This is not true. It is a public record that it was Evan's family who got him out. Kayla.
Yeah, that's crazy. See, now thank you. See, James Charles was finally talking about things that are factual that you could actually find out. Yes. All that shit when you get arrested is all public record. You can get access to those public records. You can see who bailed somebody out. That's all there. Y'all are good. So there you go. So as far as the sex tape thing is, now I didn't see the interview, right? Now, James Charles said that there wasn't, they claimed that there was a sex tape that existed, but did this person say that they saw the tape, right? Again, I agree with what James Charles said here. If you have it, post it. Post the receipts. You got permission to post the sex tape. You should take that if you have it. Or at least send it. Here's the thing. I don't even want to see it personally. I don't want to see it, right? I think that if that tape exists, send it to James Charles. Like, hello. If you have it, send it to James Charles. I will say this. I don't think it should be released publicly. I would say release it to James Charles. I'll take that back. Don't release it publicly. Not for legal reasons because you have permission, but you should just send it to James Charles so James Charles can see it. I do agree with that.
Kayla's own sister has confirmed this.
JC did not bail out EJ. I know who did, and I cannot say anything.
Third, there's a new narrative started by Be Better that I am trying to silence anybody that talks about this issue. First and foremost, this is literally the biggest thing on TikTok right now. I don't understand how anybody could possibly assume that I'm trying to silence people, but Be Better made a video basically saying that I'm working with YouTube behind the scenes to manipulate their algorithm and get their video hidden. I truthfully wish this was possible. I've been making content for 8 long years now. There are videos on YouTube with 5, 10, 20 million views that if I could have gotten them removed, I would have. But Be Better, I know you said you're having your lawyers reach out to YouTube. So YouTube, I give you my full permission to release any communications between myself or my team to you guys about this matter because, again, they don't exist. Zach has...
And I will agree with that. I don't think James Charles is actually doing that. I do agree with this. Again, we're going off of patterns, right? James Charles is actually right in this one. James Charles has multiple videos and streams out there that exist about him. This one included now, but there are plenty of people who've made videos off of previous controversies that are still up there to this day. If James Charles did have that power, I guarantee you that James Charles would 100% do that. But James Charles, despite the fact saying he wants to, which I'm sure a lot of people want to fucking take down videos about them, right? But knowing that that is a bad look, James Charles would not do that. Primarily because it would be it's a bad look. And James Charles knows that. So I'm not going to say James Charles. When it comes to business, I'll say James Charles is smart when it comes to business. James Charles knows that silencing YouTube channels for covering these stories is a bad look. It would just make the backlash worse. So I will give James Charles, again, another courtesy.
Also now made a video claiming that my lawyers have reached out to him to threaten him, to silence him, and to offer him hush money. This is not true. Zach, my lawyers cannot contact you directly, so instead they emailed your modeling agency because that is the only contact you have listed. There was no threat, there was no offer, they were simply asking for the contact of your lawyers. I told you I was going to sue you, and this is what the beginning of that process looks like. It really sucks that at this point I am left with no options other than to pursue a case. As for Kayla, I am so fucking sorry that I ever got involved in this. I should have never believed his lies and manipulation. I should have never even responded back to him in the first place, and I'm sorry for hurting you. I genuinely do wish you the absolute best of luck, and I really hope that you get justice for what that man put you through.
So that's the video. That's the video. So basically, I still don't believe the whole story. I don't. I'm sorry. Like, I don't believe the whole story. Now, the other shit at the end, yeah, that's a lot of stretching that some people are doing. 100%. I will say that. It does sound like a lot of people are stretching with this stuff. Because again, when you don't like somebody on the internet, you will definitely say whatever it is to paint that person the worser light. I don't think that the claims at the end of that video were actually, you know, anything that James Charles can't easily prove, and I don't believe those at all. Do I believe that James Charles still remained friends with Evan after the fact of this whole thing? Yes, he admitted to it. He let Evan stay there. He claims that it was under false pretenses. He didn't know about the abuse. I mean, again, he knew about it, didn't know about it. We're still fucking shitty, dude. This is somebody who's somebody's ex, bro. Why are you inviting them to your house? And then people want to say mistakes. You know, you're an adult now. How many mistakes can you make before you realize, like, stop being fucking stupid? Anyways, so now I want to actually react to Kayla's videos because, like, you know, she is the victim. And it says it's a response to James Charles. Let's see what she has to say because I actually want to hear what she has to say. Let's see. Let's play this one. Give me a second. He is the sorriest thing I've seen all day. Eels, snakes, and worms always find a way, like JDA and Pop News Reporter and Wife Beater can't stomp these dishonest slime balls. Yeah. The handwork doesn't make me believe you. Susie says, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Did you see Fuzzies? What? What are you talking about? All right, I have nobody really engaging with my content, so, you know, let me stop reading the chat. All right, let's get Kayla's video up. I found this one. Let's react to this one.
Well, I'm sure by now everybody knows about the situation with me and James. And everybody has told their side of the story except me. And in my opinion, I was the one fucked over. So it's only fair for me to tell my side of the story, how I was fucked over. And I wanted to wait a little bit, have a little bit more time to just like relish in the fact that I won in court. But the response video was posted an hour after I announced that I won my court case. 1 hour. So I have like all of my bullet points written down next to me, and I hope I could do this all in one part, but everybody told their side. And like I said, in my opinion, I was the one fucked over here. So
Right.
So to start off, I would not consider me and James to be best friends at all. I don't even think I'd consider us close friends. We've collabed a few times.
Fair.
I went over to his house, what was that, like 9 months ago to help him promote his company on live stream. We would text here and there about certain things, but it was definitely not like we were best friends. I like trying to put this into like it's kind of like that one person that's in your class at school that you're like mutuals with.
Associate. You can call it, you know, somebody you're associated with. That's fine. And like I said earlier, right? Even though they weren't friends, right? They were still friendly. And I still stand by the fact that you don't have to know somebody personally on a personal level to have empathy for somebody when they reach out to you in regards to something like this, right? So I still stand by that. So she's confirming that their relationship wasn't close. So she said that, yes, James Charles was right when he said that. We were not close friends. Got you.
Y'all are like acquaintances. Like we were
acquaintances. That's a bit.
But that doesn't.
Acquaintances.
I don't think that excuses anything that happens in my opinion. But that's the best way to describe it. We definitely were not best friends. We were not that close, but we were acquaintances. We were not best friends in any way. But this all starts almost immediately when I made me and Evan's relationship public on TikTok. So I had posted a video with Evan next to me, and me and James have never DM'd on TikTok. The only previous messages we had on TikTok was us collab posting from when we would film together when I started my Glow Up series, like I was just talking about. And he like sends me my video. I don't know how you do it. Like he sent me the video, and then under it, he said, "Girl, who is this?" And I was like, "Oh, this new guy that I met. I think I'm in love. Ha 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 ha." Then a month and a half later, he slides up on another video of me and Evan together. We have not DM'd on TikTok since this. And it's a video of us dancing together at Yosemite, and James sides up and says, girl, he's so hot. And I'm just like, haha, yeah, whatever, cool. So at that point, that's like the only time that we would text was about him saying how hot Evan was.
Oh, I wish I didn't ban that person, because I would love to hear what that person had to say about that one. Because, like, okay, so now we have her side of the story. So she confirms they weren't very close friends, but they were friendly. Okay, so they weren't friends. So we could take the friend out of this now that I said friends 100 times. So they were friendly. And it seemed like basically what she's saying is James Charles would mainly only really talk to her, like, casually, to talk about how hot her boyfriend was, how hot Evan was. So, okay, now it's kind of making a little bit more sense why fuck what Kayla's side of the story was. I want your man, and I'm gonna fly him out here. I'm gonna get him. This did not make anything James Charles said any better for me. It did not. Because, like, I'm sorry. Like, okay, you're an acquaintance. You don't owe loyalty to Kayla, right? You're just an acquaintance. You don't owe loyalty to Kayla. But, like, come on now. That is a fucking dickhead move. Where as soon as this chick that you're acquainted with breaks up with her boyfriend, now he in your DMs, and you're kind of, and I guarantee you Evan probably knew about this, because, like, of course, how, I'm sure they talked about it, right? Like, oh, James Charles thinks you're cute, ha ha ha. So now you got a big influencer like James Charles interested in Evan. Of course Evan went running into James Charles DMs, because he knew that James Charles was DTF. Shut the fuck up, man. Y'all have fucking gotta miss me with this whole James Charles made a mistake bullshit. We're here now hearing that he had an attraction to her mans the whole time. Fuck out of here, you clowns.
Which is like, whatever. I didn't care. I didn't think anything of it. Whatever. So fast forward to October, and me, Evan, Emma, and Brennan all get invited to a birthday party. We get there, and lo and behold, James is there. And Evan and James have not met at this point, obviously. The only thing that's been said is how hot James thinks Evan is, which is like, fine, whatever. So I see James, I say hi to him, and I introduce them to each other. And they're just talking for a fat minute. I don't know what really they were talking about. I wasn't really in the conversation. I was talking to Lila. I was talking to my other friends. I wasn't really in the conversation. And I don't know how accurate this is. I was not listening to the conversation, but Evan did tell me after that James was just saying how Evan was the hottest guy at the bar and he was the hottest guy there. I don't know how true that is. I don't know, but that's what I was told James was saying, is just how hot he was. And once again, I brush it off. Haha, funny, whatever. Like, whatever. Like, I don't care, So then 2 months after that, I get another DM from James. On December 17th, I posted a video of us at Hawaii together, and James, once again, our only DMs is him once again being like, oh my God, he's so beautiful. So literally the only DMs we have in the past year is him saying how hot my boyfriend is.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, whatever. Just like, what the...
Which, by the way, she says, I don't know how true that conversation was, because Evan could have lied, but like matching that up with the fact that anytime James Charles had hit her up was to react to her boyfriend, it's more believable that, like, yeah, James Charles probably met him in person and was telling him to his face the same thing. So why are we not believing that James Charles said that? I believe that conversation definitely happened. Because, like, what do you mean? The only time James Charles is hitting her up is to talk about her boyfriend. That's crazy.
Like, look at this shit now. What the fuck? It's not funny. I'm just like, what the fuck? So yeah, like at this point, the only things I've heard is how hot he thinks my boyfriend is. Cool, whatever. So now from December, it's January. And me, Brennan, Emma, and my boyfriend are in Hawaii. And this was the trip that we ended up breaking up, and all of that shit happened. It's about the third night that we're there. And I don't know if I'm allowed to include this. I'm going to anyways. But we're all sitting on the balcony of our Airbnb talking, and Evan starts saying that James is DMing him on Instagram. And immediately I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you DMing James? Like, immediately I'm just like, fuck no. Like, you're not going to do that. That's weird in my opinion. And at this point, our relationship was basically already over. And even Brennan was like, and Emma were like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you DMing him on Instagram? So we look over at the phone, And Evan sends James a picture on Instagram. So like, you know how you snap on Snapchat, like doing that on Instagram, like sending pictures back and forth. And Evan is like, you should go to Hawaii with us. And James sends back this saying like, why should I come to Hawaii? And that for the first time is when I was like, what the fuck? And I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure they continued to text throughout the night. I was not like caring enough to go through his phone. I was just like, why are you messaging him? And I just red flags. It was just so fucking weird. Cause mind you, at this, me and James don't text. Like me and James aren't even texting like that. James is only texting me to say how hot he is. And now he's sending him snaps over Instagram saying, why should I come to Hawaii? Like that's fucking weird. I would only do that if I'm like, trying to fuck.
Right.
Or if I'm trying to flirt, you know? Like it was just weird.
Right.
So I don't know if they texted anymore throughout the night. I have no idea. I do know that all of their texts are over Instagram. So fast forward literally 2 weeks past this, me and Evan have broken up. And literally the day after we break up, James texts me. And he basically is asking me and Evan to be a part of this painted commercial video. And it was supposed to be like me and Evan, and it was like a couple thing, and it was for Valentine's Day. So I respond, and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, but we just broke up, ha ha ha. So I text James that we have broken up, and basically the first thing he says in response is, can I have him now?
Right. Thank you.
Just responds, can I have him now? And then was like, ha ha ha, just kidding. What happened? I then proceed to tell him that, let me actually like read the text like word for word. I'm going to green screen this part. Everything else I'm inserting in, but I want to read this like word for word. So yeah. Do you want to be in a painted video with your man? I explained that we broke up. I was going to do a 30-part series. And mind you, he is the only person that I told, because this is a day after we officially broke up. He is the only person I told about a quote 30-part series that I was going to film about what I went through. He goes, what? I go, girl, he's fucking crazy. And then there we go. What happened? Can I have him now? Once again, didn't really think much of it, but my senses were a little bit heightened now after the whole Hawaii Instagram DMing situation, but whatever. Then tell him, imagine the worst things a human can do. It would take hours to text, but you'll see the series soon. He then asks again about if I'm actually doing a series, which I'll...
Okay, pause. Because remember, I didn't read the text. I was letting James Charles speak. He highlighted the same text message. So here we have her reading it, right? And she says, he goes, what happened? She says, imagine the worst thing a person could possibly do to you. Right? James Charles at the time not thinking, oh, well, I just thought it was a messy breakup. And this is, again, information he got. And then afterwards, still continued to talk to Evan, still invited Evan to stay at his place. Still believed his side of the story. Right? Right. Mind you, James Charles had a relationship with who first? Kayla. Then saw the boyfriend. Ooh, girl, who's that? That's this dude I'm talking to. I think I'm in love. Well, he's hot. Okay, cool. Post a picture of her and her man or a video of her and her man. Ooh, girl, your man look hot. Post another picture. I'm sorry. Well, let me get the timeline right. They go to Hawaii. James Charles decides to slide in her man's DMs. Right? Now that's weird. Okay? After the Hawaii, she posts another picture. Ooh, girl, he's so beautiful. Like, at this point, right? And again, she's laughing it off because, like, to her, she's probably thinking, like, nah, I don't got to worry about a gay guy hitting on my dude, right? Right? A lot of girls think like that when it comes to gay men hitting on a guy. We're like, oh, that's adorable. Oh, haha, yeah, I know, girl, he hot. But they're not thinking like that because they're thinking, like, this is a gay dude. And as far as I don't know if my dude is into guys. So, like, there's that sense of security where you're not taking shit seriously. I'll give that to her, right? But you have her now here showing the conversation that James Charles himself also showed where she says a little bit of what happened. She didn't go into details, but she said, think of the worst things that you could think somebody could do to somebody. That's what happened. And James Charles is like, well, I just thought it was a messy breakup or he cheated. That's the worst thing that somebody could do to somebody in a relationship is cheat. I would immediately been like, damn, he put his hands on you, didn't he? 'He? 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 ' right? So I'll give him another fucking courtesy that he was not thinking the worst possible thing. To him, maybe it is cheating, okay? But still, this is somebody that you were acquainted with first, and then decided to become friends with her man. And then people are saying that, well, Evan said that you guys hooked up. And that's completely absurd. That can't be. Well, why wouldn't that be true? I don't know, because the only time you talked to Kayla was to talk about her man. You met up you saw them at a party, you talked to him, told him how hot he was in person. Then you slide in his DMs. The moment that she breaks up with him, your first thing you basically are saying, girl, what happened? Can I have him? That's crazy. But no, James Charles made a mistake. This is all a mistake, guys. These are mistakes.
I'll explain why that has a lot to do with more going on. But he asks again about the series, then says, I'm sorry. And I go, oh, just wait. I gave this man a platform based off his lies and abuse.
Oh,
I'm
there
gonna
we
wait
go
to heal from
again.
it and then clock it.
There we go. His lies and abuse. She says it in the fucking conversation. Abuse. Pause. Let's go back to that. Let me get myself on cam. Abuse. She told James Charles abuse. And he still continued to have a fucking relationship with this dude and invited him to his house after this girl just told James Charles abuse. Fuck out of here. Anyone coming to this fucking channel, watching this fucking show that wants to defend this man, you're getting yeeted. Yes, cancel culture, bitch. Fuck out of here. That person in the chat, I should have never banned them up to this point. I'm regretting it now so I can just fucking clown on them at how fucking stupid they are sweeping for this shit. And then want to try to talk shit in my chat. I'm the only one engaged in your fucking content. I don't need you to fucking engage in my content, bitch. I don't need you to engage in my content. I don't need to be a big fucking YouTuber. That's the problem with you motherfuckers. You count people's opinions and fucking whatever they talk about based on the fucking clout they have. Y'all are part of the problem. Y'all are the reason why people like James Charles keep getting away with being fucking shitty people. Don't fucking come to my channel on that bullshit. We don't like real shit here. We don't like fake bullshit.
Which I did do. And then he goes, shit, I'm sorry, Kayla. And I said, you're good. Thank you. So that was the last time we texted until he flew Evan out to California. But in these, I made it pretty clear that Evan had fucked me over. I brought up abuse, the worst thing a human can do.
Wait, did she say after? Hold on.
I said, you're good. Thank you.
I thought it was...
So that was the last time we texted until he flew Evan out to California. But in these, I made it pretty clear that Evan had fucked me over. I brought up abuse, the worst thing a human can do. I mean,
right.
I obviously did not go into depth with what I had went through. At this point, like James said in his video, my friends didn't even know, my family didn't even know the full story. Nobody knew the full story. And obviously, I don't expect him to sit there and ask,
I do.
Oh, well, what happened? I don't expect him to do that. I get feeling uncomfortable in that situation. But I made it crystal fucking clear that I was fucked over in a pretty big way. And holy fucking shit, I do not want to have to make a part 2. But I'm at 9 minutes and 47 seconds, so I'm going to have to. And also, shut the fuck up. I'm not on the creator program. I'm not getting paid for any of this shit. I'm just clocking the fucking tea. So, part 2. So basically, obviously, I don't expect him to ask me, oh, well, what happened? And I don't expect him to want to know the full story. I get being uncomfortable doing that, but I 100% think that in these messages, I made it crystal fucking clear that what he put me through was not okay. It was not normal, and it was an abusive relationship. I just think I made that clear.
She did. She made it clear. She used the word abuse. She said abuse. It's not much clearer than that. Abuse.
And no, we were not best friends. No, I wouldn't even consider us close, but we were acquaintances, and he knew me more than he knew Evan.
Correct.
He met Evan through me.
Correct.
I've known James more, like at the end of the day, he knows me more than he knows Evan.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, with that information, with what I told you, it should have been okay, I understand, and move on. There should not be a second part to this. It should have ended right there, and then none of this shit would have happened. There wouldn't be a drama. There wouldn't be a fucking, this wouldn't be a fucking drama if it ended where it should have. And in my opinion, if you have good morals, it would have ended there.
Correct.
I know people in my life that I have, am acquaintances with, and they would not do that to me, and I would not do that to them. I would not do this to people that I've even collabed with once. I wouldn't do that to somebody.
Correct.
So in my opinion, it should have fucking ended there. And there should have been no communication between him and Evan past that point. But obviously that didn't happen. So a week after I send those text messages, me and Evan are broken up, obviously, but we were not on no communication yet. And so this was, I literally, the day before I go live and say that I was in an abusive relationship, this was the day before I officially made it no contact and realized, holy shit, what, like, I wake up basically. So me and Evan have our final call. And this is when Evan says to me, if you tell people what I did to you, that means you never loved me. That's when he said all of that on the phone. It was our last ever conversation. But
oh my God, fucking narcissist. See, this is what I'm saying, right? So this is what I'm saying. This is why I'm kind of glad I did James Charles first, obviously, and then we did this, because the issue I have, right, is, okay, we've established that they're not actually friends. So people saying they're friends, including myself at the beginning of the stream, improper term to use. They were acquaintances. And as acquaintances, you should even still have a certain level of professional and respect, right? To not go there with somebody's ex, right? Again, let's take the abuse to the side for a second, right? And if you have an acquaintance, somebody that you are casual with, you're cool with, you collaborate with, basically you work with, right? Are you going to be messing around with their ex and not expect any backlash for that? No, right? Because, like, obviously, when you're an ex, you don't want to be involved with that person anymore, right? Unless you're on good terms and you're fine. But my thing is, like, if you wanted to get with her ex, James Charles, you could have just talked to her about it. Like, seriously. And he said he made a joke. Well, it clearly wasn't a joke, because you've been macking on this dude since you saw him, right? So at least you could have done is at least ask her, like, hey, I kind of like your boyfriend. Is he into dudes or something like that, right? But instead you said, nah, fuck all that. You know, I'm going to talk to him anyway, and I'm going to fly him out here, and we'll see what happens. That shit's crazy, and she has every right to be upset. And I think, again, James Charles deserves that backlash, because what type of person does that? That shows you what kind of person James Charles really is. Does not give a fuck genuinely about Kayla. I'm sorry, even the whole, it was awful what he did to her. She told you. Abuse. And you still talked to him and invited him to your house to stay with you. The only reason why James Charles is even doing this is because it came out. I don't think James Charles gave a fuck. Well, I tried to reach out to Kayla and tell her my side of the story and tell her, no. What you wanted to do to Kayla was manipulate her into thinking that it was all harmless, because, again, what did I say earlier? I said, Kayla didn't answer your calls because there's probably enough evidence for her to believe you did this shit. And now we're hearing there was. Before her and Evan broke up, she's looking at everything. Of course, it was easy for her to believe that you fucking flew him out there and had sex with him. You've been in her DMs only to talk about how much you want her man, basically. Of course it was easy for her to believe that. Like, hello? Common fucking sense. Put two and two together. She put the puzzle pieces together, and it showed you with her man.
But in the beginning of that phone call, while we're talking, he brings up me making a 30-part series. And I immediately am like, how the fuck do you know that? And he quote said a 30-part series. The only fucking person that I texted about making a 30-part series was James. James was the only person I told about making a quote 30-part series.
And that also confirmed for her that, yes, James, you were still talking to him after you knew about the abuse that she told you she had with the ex. Just saying.
Once again, I don't know how true this is. He was abusive. He was, like, literally, like, we all know by now. But Evan told me that James had sent him screenshots of our messages warning Evan that I was going to make a 30-part series. Once again, don't know how true that is, but it makes fucking sense, because on the phone, Evan literally said, So are you going to make that 30-part series about me? And in the text messages, once again, in the messages, I quite literally quote, tune in for the 30-part Who the Fuck Did I Marry series. Like, the fuck? So allegedly, apparently, from what I was told, is that right after sending those text messages telling James that we broke up, James went and DM'd him on Instagram, sent him those text messages to warn him, and then they started to create a friendship. And obviously, that forms to be true when about a month after all of this, I still have not spoken out publicly. The only thing I've done is go on live and say that.
By the way, at this part of the video, that is the video. It's not my internet. This is the video. For some reason, the audio and the mouth movement aren't linked. So just so you know, that's what's going on.
I was in an abusive relationship. I was not ready to talk about the details of it. Still healing, okay? But I'm scrolling on Snapchat and I see that Evan had posted a Snapchat in the exact area that James lives, in a backyard that looked identical to James's backyard. And immediately I was like, there's no fucking way. Because this was about a month after I had been told that they were DMing. Why are y'all DMing for a fucking month? The fuck? So I text James and I'll just green screen them again. And mind you, the last time that we texted was me telling him that we broke up, okay? I text him on March 1st saying, this is so random. Hope you're doing good. Are you with Evan? He says, what? Your ex Evan? Doesn't say yes, doesn't say no. I said, yes, posted a picture, look like your backyard. He goes, why would Evan be in my backyard? Later to find out that he was in his backyard and that James had flown him out to California and they spent the entire fucking weekend together. And honestly, if you knew you weren't doing anything wrong, why didn't you just straight up answer my fucking question and say, yeah, he's here, we're friends? Like, And in James's video, he was saying that, oh, well, he seemed depressed and sad and like he needed a friend. I have a lot to say about that, but first thing, if you're just being there for a friend and that you think he's a good person, why do you feel the need to have to lie to me about it? If you truly don't think you're doing anything wrong, why did you lie? Why did you lie about it? And then also keep it such a secret. Second off, you're being there for a quote friend that is your ex or your friends, acquaintances, ex-boyfriend that I told you was abusive.
Facts. Thank you. Oh, but James Charles just made a mistake, guys. He just made a mistake. No, he knew exactly what the fuck he was doing. Can you guys stop acting like James Charles is a fucking child that is fucking naive and doesn't know better? How many times has James Charles said in that video, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm a grown-ass adult. Yes, I have OnlyFans. I'm a grown-ass adult. And yet you still act like a fucking horny, hopping teenager, bro. But no, it just makes mistakes. Fuck out of here, bro.
Like, what the fuck? It's just like, moral of the story is like, you obviously knew you were doing something fucking wrong if you had to lie to me about it. You know? So that entire weekend that they're together, I drive past James's house to see if I could see anything. So I was like, I need fucking proof. Like, I know they're together, but I need proof because I'm so pissed. Obviously don't see anything. And at this point, I'm just, I don't know what's going on. I have no proof, but I have a gut feeling that they are together, that they are hanging out. Fast forward another month. Me and James do not text. Nobody ever comes clean about anything. Nobody says anything, nothing. I release my He Doesn't Love You, and I talk about everything that he had done to me. And me and James still are not talking. He still does not text me and say, hey, I'm sorry, doesn't try to explain himself, nothing. And in my opinion, that's because he didn't think he'd get caught. He didn't think I'd find out. So he had no reason to tell me firsthand. And that's why this shit really pisses me off. I end up texting James, asking to FaceTime for a segment on my podcast because Jacob had this funny idea that we were going to FaceTime James and James is going to be like, ew, Jacob, and then like hang up. It was supposed to be like this funny bit. I could include screenshots. Literally the next text a month later, after me asking if he had flown my ex-boyfriend out, I literally just say, hey, da-da-da, totally normal conversation. He does not bring it up. Nothing. At this point, I don't have proof to back up my theory. So cool, whatever. But yeah, he doesn't say anything, acts like everything is normal. So then it is Coachella weekend, a couple weeks later, and a video is posted exposing James to have flown my ex-boyfriend out to California. The second that this video goes public, James starts to blow up my phone, asking if I'm at Coachella, saying that we need to talk. I immediately already knew what he was talking about. Are you at Coachella? Yeah, I am. Can I talk to you? I shut it down. I don't want to fucking talk to you. I don't want to fucking talk to you. He says, I felt guilty for weeks and I didn't know how to tell you and I owe the truth. And I explained it to you from my mouth, not the Zach guy, and then you can feel however you want to. To me, it's quite ironic that you suddenly feel guilty about this the second that it's made public.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Anyone needs to stop miss me with this whole James Charles made a mistake. James Charles is not perfect bullshit, bro. It's not about that. It's about the fact that James Charles only fucking apologizes and only says shit once it's public. He knows what he's doing is fucking wrong and he doesn't even fucking care. She makes every valid point, right? She called him out and said, hey, I saw my ex-boyfriend have a picture. It looks like it's in your backyard. Are you with him? Like, and she said, it's crazy, right? I'm crazy here, but I just want to ask. She went to James Charles. She didn't make it public and make accusations at James Charles, right? She contacted James Charles directly as a normal person does and say, hey, crazy question, but like, is my boyfriend at your house? Like, are you guys hanging out? And then James Charles lies. He admitted he lied. Oh, I lied because it was uncomfortable stuff. No, you lied because you knew it was wrong. Because you knew what you did was fucking wrong, James Charles. Because she makes a good point. If you didn't do anything wrong and you just told me I'm just hanging out with a friend, I don't care if it's awkward. Like, just tell me, right? Like, even so, if you ain't doing nothing wrong, what was the harm in just saying, yeah, you know, he needed a friend, he was depressed, all that shit. I'm sure she might have understood. Maybe she wouldn't have, but still, you still lied to her. Right? And then afterwards, and she knows this motherfucker was at your house. She said she went to your house because she wanted to prove it. She couldn't prove it, but she had the feeling. She's like, I'm pretty sure that was your backyard, right? So with her thinking that she's still trying to be friendly with James Charles, right? Because she has no proof, right? But in the back of her head, she's still thinking her gut feeling, right? And he had every opportunity to say, hey, yeah, this happened. And he didn't until it came out public. Oh, let me tell you my side story. You know what time you had a chance to tell her the truth is when she hit you up and asked you, bro. At that point, I don't blame her for not. And he's like, I don't blame her for not talking to me because after hearing that, and I did lie to her. Yeah, so then you should have known better, bro. Again, this is a grown ass adult. Don't forget, a grown ass adult.
Like you suddenly feel guilty once. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I text him. I've known for a while, but I saw the proof today. I'm just shocked. There's a ton to explain. I'm annoyed with myself for allowing you to find out this way instead of just telling you myself. I say, okay. He then says, he manipulated me as well, and I fell for it. To when I then reply, I got so pissed off. How did you get to the point for him to manipulate you? I told you he abused me the day we broke up. Then you texted him that day that I told you that. But I'd rather talk to you about this tomorrow. You met him because he was my boyfriend. After that, James did try to reach out multiple times. He wanted to meet up and talk, and I'll give him credit for that. I can tell he feels guilty. He was blowing me up for days and days after that, wrote me long paragraphs.
I don't think that's feeling guilty. I don't think that's feeling guilty. Okay. I'm sorry. Once again, I got to throw out the N-word, narcissism. So that's literally what narcissists do, right? When they get exposed, they try to do damage control, right? I'll give James Charles credit. He don't do the smear campaigns like most narcissists do, but that is a narcissistic tactic. That's not a guilt thing. Narcissists don't feel guilt because, again, if you felt guilty, you wouldn't have done it in the fucking first place. You know what I'm saying? There's no, like, you did it and you feel guilty. Like, that's crazy. That, like, I don't feel like he actually felt guilty because he's blowing up your phone. He was blowing up your phone, Kayla, because he wanted to do damage control. He wanted to make sure, because this happened to you, Kayla. Don't forget that this situation happened to you. right? And so your voice in this means everything to everybody right now. And if you come out and say, fuck James Charles, he's a piece of shit, oh, trust me, ain't nobody gonna fucking disagree with you. But James Charles wanted you to have his back. That's why he was blowing up your phones. That's why he wanted to tell you his side of the story. And he wanted to talk to you. He wanted to make sure that y'all were good so this doesn't get worse for him, because it already looks bad for him. He needed to convince you, because you are the only person in this situation, Kayla, who could make that go away for James Charles. And you have every right to either do that or tell him to go fuck off. But trust me, you telling him to go fuck off, mwah, mwah. I'm glad you didn't take that bait, girl. And she's so pretty. Can we just talk about how beautiful this woman is? How could any fucking man want to put hands on such a beautiful face? I'm sorry. She is a gorgeous woman. She deserves the best. Okay? She seems like a very sweet girl. She seems like a very down to earth. She seems like a real one. Because she even said, like, this is like, you could have handled it this way. Like, I would have went to you and done that. She's like, I would never do this to anybody. And I believe her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would anyone want to hurt this girl, man? She seems really sweet. Yeah, she is very beautiful. You know, it's sad that the pretty girls, I'm not saying that the ugly girls or average looking girls don't get it, but like, it's really crazy how like beautiful women always get fucking abused like crazy. It's wild, because it's like, why do you do is like, you know, you all want to get these really fucking hot, beautiful young women, and then you get them and then you just treat them like fucking shit. And then wonder why women say niggas ain't shit. I had to say it. I'm sorry. I had to say it, because that's just what it is, man. You know, no offense to you men. I'm not saying all you men do that, but like, there are a lot of men that just, when they get beautiful girls, they do this shit to them. Yeah, I think so too. It's like, it is jealousy. It's like, you're too pretty for me. You're too good for me. So I'm going to batter you and beat you so you only can depend on me. So you don't go looking elsewhere. So you don't see that there's better out there for you. Fucking sick people, man. These people are sick. I'm so glad she came forward. I'm so glad she spoke out. I'm so glad she keeps speaking out. And I'm more so glad that she got justice, because you don't see that often. You don't see that often. Evan is not black. And what does that have to do with anything? That was a weird thing. Y'all take that. You'll take that word too literal sometimes, man. I'm black. I can be hood sometimes, but sometimes I just gotta say it. I just gotta be blunt and say it like a hood bitch sometimes. Like, that's just what it is.
A lot of stuff. I personally decided not to respond. I decided not to meet up with him because, quite frankly, what the fuck do you have to say? And after waiting for him to come out with his response video, I'm honestly happy I didn't meet up with him to hear what he had to say, because it clears up nothing for me. What happened. You knew he was my abusive ex-boyfriend. I'm going to have to make a part fucking 3. Jesus fucking Christ. Once again, not on the payment program. I'm not doing this for money. I literally am not making a dime from this. Once again, just clocking the fucking tea. I did not expect this to be 30 fucking minutes. I'm just going to end this here. I just think it's a load of bullshit. And watching the apology video quite literally pissed me off even more, because I can genuinely appreciate to where you now feel guilty. And I don't think that you still support him. I don't think that at all. I know once I posted the proof, you probably dropped him. I'm not doubting that. It's the fact that my word was not believed. My text messages of me saying that it was abusive, that he did the worst things a human could possibly do, those were taken lightheartedly.
Right.
And then you went and DM'd him and formed a friendship with my ex-boyfriend, believed everything he was saying about being depressed and suicide, and you wanted to sit there and be there for him, and you believed everything that came out of his mouth, but not mine? Right. That's fucking crazy to me. How are you going to sit there and take everything to heart that my ex-boyfriend is saying, that you met through me, but not what I'm saying? Right. That makes zero fucking sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or do I sound delusional? Am I just like,
no, you're
salty?
Not delusional. No.
Dude, that was so cringy to say. Or, like, genuinely, do I?
No, like, she's 100% right. Again, like, if I had an acquaintance and that acquaintance started, and that's happened to me, right? So real quick, I'll tell you guys a quick story. Okay. So I had dated somebody for 4 years. We broke up. We still remained friends for the longest time. I still was friends with the family. So, the family didn't live too far from me. So I'd always go visit his mom, visit his sister, visit, my nephew. I still considered, that my nephew, right? So I would go visit the family all the time, and I would see him sometimes, and we would hang out, talk, and that's it, right? But eventually, like, there was a lady who lived upstairs for them. And, I became friends with her too because, she was always at the cookouts and stuff. Because, like I said, I still was friends with the family, still was friends with my ex. So I'd go there and, we'd hang out. And I met the neighbor. She was cool. She was married at the time. We became friends. We'd go out and drink and party and stuff sometimes, whatever. So eventually, a few years go by. I'm at a gathering. I don't know if it was 4th of July or whatever, but I was at, my ex's house with his family for a holiday, right? So we're having a cookout, and then the neighbor comes down. Now I know that she had recently just separated from her husband, so like was no big thing. But so she sits down, we're just hanging out like normal, casual talking, and all of a sudden, she tells me that her and my ex had been sleeping together for the past few years. And in my head, I'm sitting there like, okay, right? Like, good to know I have a boyfriend myself. Like, me and him are just friends. It's fine. I don't care, right? And she's just like, well, I just want you to know because, like, we're friends. And, like, I know you have a history with him. And we're right, but we have a history. And it was a long history. And it was long enough time where, I don't fucking care what my ex does with his life, right? That's where I was at. Now, that's how, like, you're kind of supposed to handle it, right? And I wouldn't even say, like, this person was a friend, right? We didn't talk on the phone. We would see each other and talk and hang out whenever I either visited, his family, or we'd be at a bar, and she was more of a friend, right? So she was more close to other people I associate with. That's why I said when we would go out party and stuff, like, we were friends, but not friends, right? Kind of like acquaintances, like Kayla was acquaintances with James Charles. Okay. Now, it was long enough from the separation, because me and my ex-boyfriend had been separated for at least 5 years at that point, right? So it was not a big deal. However, if I had just recently broke up with him and I had an acquaintance immediately go in and do that, number one, that's kind of fucked up. You're not giving me enough time to fucking heal from the breakup, depending on how we broke up. If it was a bad breakup, like, what I'm saying, if he's a piece of shit person, what I'm saying? And on top of that, it's like, if the biggest part of reason why this is a problem, right, is because for you to be dating an acquaintance's ex, right, if you are still acquainted with that person, again, if you don't know the nature, and we're going to pretend like we don't know the nature of the breakup, right? So what if the breakup was bad, right? They had a bad breakup. Maybe it wasn't abusive. Again, let's take the abusive part out of it, because I want to focus on the core thing is like, this is your acquaintance. You collaborate with this person. You work with this person. You talk to this person here and there, but this is somebody you're acquainted with, right? And if you want to continue being acquainted with this person, if this person had a bad breakup and they do not want to be around their ex, especially so soon, right? So soon after breakup, and you want to be acquainted with that ex, you have to understand, like, at some point, there's going to be a choice you're going to have to make, right? Because now you're making that person have to still be involved in some way, shape, or form with their ex, right? Because now they know you are talking to the ex. So now that relationship's going to be weird, because now they don't know, they don't want to talk to you about certain things. Because maybe that ex is obsessive and it's like, oh, well, you still talk to Kayla? What is Kayla up to these days? No. You know what I'm saying? So there are many reasons outside of the abuse factor why it's not always a smart idea or a good idea to, all of a sudden become friends with somebody's ex, especially if you've already, like, let that person know you have an attraction to them, right? It's disrespectful. First and foremost, it's disrespectful. Now we'll go back to the fact that this is an abusive ex. Now you're being friends with the abuser, with the person who beat the shit out of somebody you're acquainted with. That's fucked up. So all around, this whole situation is fucking messy for James Charles, and it's disrespectful. And again, no, Kayla's not delusional. She's reacting a normal way that anyone who is hearing the story should be reacting. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. And people excusing James Charles by saying it's a mistake. This is not a fucking mistake. Kayla has already shown proof that this was premeditated. This was all premeditated. James Charles expressed attraction to Evan for months leading up to and then at the breakup point. The very next fucking day when she breaks up with this dude, James Charles like, can I have him? And then flies him out to be with him and spend the weekend with him. This was all premeditated. This was not a fucking mistake. Any fucking moron that comes to this fucking stream and leaves a stupid fucking comment saying that shit, you're fucking brain dead. This was pre-fucking meditated. And it's not the first fucking time James Charles has pulled some shit like this. You people learn from their mistakes. I'll give James Charles the first time it was a mistake. I can give that to you. But at this point, it's not a mistake anymore because you keep making the same ones. Kayla's the fucking victim, not James fucking Charles. Fuck out of here with your fucking bullshit. And I'm going to go back and call that person out. And I hope they're watching. I hope they're coping this season that they can't respond. Good. Fuck you. You don't get to fucking respond to this because you're fucking stupid. Evan didn't get enough backlash. That's fucking stupid. Why the fuck are you worried about the backlash differences between James Charles and fucking Evan? Well, Evan should get more backlash than James Charles. Well, Evan's fucking sitting in jail now, so who fucking cares? James Charles is out here free. He did no criminal activity, but he has everyone has the right to call this fucking man out. He keeps fucking up. He keeps fucking up. Jesus, I don't know how people are fucking this so fucking sympathetic to people who don't deserve it. Like, so we're gonna give James Charles empathy. He made mistakes, but like, fuck Kayla. Because Kayla makes a point. He didn't give a fuck about her when she told him point blank he did awful things to her and even said the word abuse to him, and he still continued to have a relationship and listen and believe fucking Evan over Kayla, which is crazy because the only reason why he listened to Evan is because he wanted to fuck Evan. That's the truth, the harsh truth. He didn't give a fuck about Kayla. He's gay. He's not trying to get in Kayla's pants. That's just the fucking facts.
I just sound bitter in this situation. Do I sound bitter or like,
No.
do I have a fucking point?
You have a point, girl.
I do not think that if I did not find out through TikTok and if this shit was not made public, I do not think I would have ever found out. I don't think I ever would have received a I felt guilty for weeks text. I don't think I would have gotten that at all. I do not think I would have gotten an apology or he would have owned up to it and texted me about it if it had not been made public.
Correct.
And
I agree.
I think there's proof to that because he kept it a secret literally up until he went public with it.
Correct.
And then also it does leave a bad taste in my mouth that, listen, I get it. If your name's being slandered and you want to clock that shit, fucking clock it. I get it. But to do it an hour after I win the court case is fucking crazy, in my opinion. 1 hour after I announced that I win the court case, here's a 10-minute video, and all my comments are now flooded with, did you see James's new video? You couldn't even wait till the fucking 8th?
Right? How long is Evan going to jail for? I believe it said he was going to jail for 18 months. Let me look real quick. Let me get the exact number. Let's see. Influencer Evan Johnson. There he is. Johnson was taken to custody on May 7th of 2025. Following the conclusion of a closely watched domestic violence case brought by content creator and ex-girlfriend Kayla. Blah 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 blah. Let's see. It says no sentence disclosed, but what could be. Actually, I believe they did. I did see where it said 18 months or 16. I know it's definitely a year. I know it's definitely a year. So, that's what I read online. But I mean, hey, he went to jail. I hope he doesn't get out before that, but we'll see. Cause man. If he was a fucking psycho before, I hope to God that she's safe. I hope she has a protection order against him too.
Like, that's crazy to me. And I get it. You wanted to clear the air. I get that. But to not even wait 3 hours? Not even an hour and a half? What the fuck? And
Yeah,
at that point,
she's funny. I like her. I'm gonna subscribe to her.
Sorry.
Subscribe to her. I like her.
I'm just like, I'm crashed out. Like, it has been so hard to sit here and not say fucking shit when all of this is going on, and then seeing the apology video. I don't know. I just have a lot of thoughts, and I don't think this is like a pick sides thing. I don't think there's sides in this. It's just a story. I think that he fucked up. James fucked up, and he fucked me over, and it was a shitty thing to do. Do you find it interesting though that
I will say this: when she says there's no sides to pick, there is a side to pick, Kayla. Right and wrong. That's the side you want to pick, right? Between right and wrong. A lot of people, in my opinion, are picking wrong. But there is a side, right and wrong.
James posted conversation receipts with everybody. Me, a clip from my sister's live stream, like everybody's receipts except for his Instagram DMs with my ex-boyfriend.
Facts! Fucking facts! Fucking facts.
If they're not already deleted. And I don't know. I think the timing of everything was weird. I think the receipts were odd. That's basically my side of the story. They had been DMing in Hawaii in January while we were still together. James would only DM me to say how hot he was. Apparently, from what I was told, which I don't know how trustworthy my abusive ex was, but told me that James had DM'd him the day that we broke up. So I don't know. And also, I do think it is fishy to create such a friendship with somebody off of being attracted to them. Because I don't know what the fuck they would have in common besides the fact that James thought he was hot. And then to fly him out, I don't know. I don't know if I could think a guy was really hot, fly him out, and just like want a friendship. I don't fucking know. There's just so much in my head.
Facts.
But yeah, no.
Facts.
Moral of the story, I appreciate acknowledging how you feel guilty. I appreciate acknowledging what you did. I just don't think that would have happened at all if you hadn't been caught for it.
I agree.
But yeah, that's my side. And I don't fucking know what else to say. Holy fucking shit. This has been like the hardest thing to keep my mouth shut on. But yeah, this was a lot longer than I thought it would need to be. I thought it was only going to be a 10-minute video, but holy fucking shit. A bitch is pissed. A bitch has been pissed. And I've just wanted to sit here and relish in the court shit. But for some fucking how, James made this like a drama. Or James didn't. I don't know who the fuck did it, but this whole thing became like a fucking drama. Like, what the fuck? So yeah, I'm still trying to process winning court, let alone all of this bullshit. But yeah. I don't fucking know, y'all. This shit is just as confusing to me as it is to y'all. I don't know what the fuck happened while they were in LA. I'll never fucking know the truth, but I don't know. I'm just going to stop talking. I feel like I could honestly talk about this for hours. I could literally go on about this for hours, but yeah.
I feel like she low-key wants to say, I don't know, Evan was a little gay sometimes. I think that's what she's trying not to say. I don't think she wanted to out her ex as being possibly bisexual, bro. The face she made, I'm like, I think she really wanted to be like, yeah, Evan might have done it. Evan might have done it.
Love y'all. Happy Wednesday. I feel like old me wouldn't have even fucking like said shit, but I'm so past the point of like letting shit fucking slide. I was fucked over, so I don't know. I don't feel bad telling my side when everybody else got to tell theirs, and I'm not trying to make this a fucking drama, but it became one when you flew my ex-boyfriend out.
Facts. I love her face here. She's so pretty, y'all. Can we just appreciate how beautiful she is? Look at those eyes. She's gorgeous. Okay, so that's basically it. My thoughts, my takeaway from all this is, yeah, James Charles definitely not being 100% honest and real, my opinion. Do I think that James Charles probably hooked up with the ex? Yeah. I think it happened, guys. I think it did happen. And again, she didn't say it, but I'm telling you, she definitely wanted to say it, man. I think she wanted to say that her man might have swung a little both ways. That maybe some things that he said or whatever he told her about James Charles might be true. Because like I said, the weird part is like she says that the ex told her. And at least she acknowledged that he was a liar, so she didn't know if it was true or not. That's why she was careful with what she said. She's like, he said this. He's known to be a liar, obviously, but like, there might be some truth to that because we have the pattern of behavior. Always look at patterns, guys. People always sit there and say, how do you believe it? How do you believe it? Because I always look at the pattern of behavior. I look at the patterns because patterns don't lie. People do. Okay? But I don't think that her dude was lying about them, James messaging him shortly after and sending him that stuff. Like she's clearly not stupid. That's the thing. She's not stupid. She was stupid to stay in that relationship that long, but that's not on her because love is very blind. So, but man, I'm telling you, I like this chick though. I really like her. I think she's funny. I think she's smart. I think that she's brave and yeah. I think she's really mad too. She's definitely mad. But she's not fucking dumb. She sussed that shit. She trusted her gut and she's like, yeah, I had a feeling this was going on, but like having that confirmation definitely is fucked up, especially right after she won her case against her ex. That's also something that like people probably don't understand why she's like pressing the whole why are you mad that he posted an hour after? It's like because she didn't even get time to fucking celebrate, bro. Like she like basically this whole situation rained on her parade. Because like James Charles definitely could have and should have waited to release that at least a couple days after. At least let her process and celebrate the win. But instead, James Charles did like it's like he made it about him. Like I'm sorry that's what she's basically saying is like you couldn't have waited a little longer because like you put out that and you made it about you. I'm sorry, he did make it about him. But that is just my takeaway from it. Those are my opinions. My opinions are just that, but the facts are out there. The fact remains James Charles is hella sus, and James Charles will continue to be hella sus because James Charles will keep making mistakes. There'll be plenty of people out there to sweep for James Charles and try to defend and justify James Charles's shitty behaviors, and I'm fucking over it, and I'm over it. So I'm happy for Kayla. Congratulations, Kayla, on winning your case. You definitely deserve that because your ex is a piece of shit and James Charles is also a piece of shit. James Charles might have threw a physical punch at Kayla, but the virtual ones are definitely there. The virtual ones were definitely there. That was the biggest slap in the face and spit in your fucking mouth I've ever seen on the internet. But fuck James Charles and everything James Charles stands for. Sue me, bitch, if you want to. But Kayla, much love to you. Again, you're cool. You earned a follower from me. I look forward to seeing your non-drama related content. Beautiful, beautiful lady. I hope you find love and happiness, and I hope that this awful situation hasn't deterred you from finding love and happiness, because that tends to happen where women get abused and they just give up. And I get it, but never give up. There's always somebody better, and will not hurt you, and you will heal from this. So that's all I got, guys. But anyways, thank you for being here. Y'all are awesome. Appreciate you guys. You enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for hopefully something less crazy with this situation. But yeah, much love to y'all. I'm gonna play my outro. What should I do tonight? You know what? I'll play the one I just made for James Charles tonight, and then we'll end it there. Y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.
Hit quick as I'm like there's an uppercut. Almost killed her self-respect. What the fuck? Yeah, my girl was down bad, but she came up. Thank God she wised up and left James Charles in the dust. Oh, this is just for you, just for you. This is just for you. Oh, this is just for you, just for you. This is just for you. She didn't think that she could be a superstar. Didn't think she'd ever get out of that car. Back when we were starving, no food in the fridge. Thank God she wised up and left James Charles in the skins. This is just for you, just for you. This is just for you. Oh, this is just for you, just for you. This is just for you. Got a new man, better understand. Get get to see him on demand, fly around the land. She got friends in low places and a couple in hot. Just like everything, we all gonna die. In the meantime, we gonna live this life. Oh, oh, this is just for you, just for you. This is just for you. Oh, this is just for you, just for you. This is just for you. This is just for you.